What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do kind of a new mini-series, I guess you'd say. I only got 2 or 3 videos in mind, but I had a number of chainsaws out in my pile of, kind of our bone pile we call it, and one of them in particular I've not been interested in until the other day, and decided to pull it out and see if it ran. So I thought I would kind of bring you along with the journey of getting it running, show you some of the features, and cut some wood with it tomorrow, I think. So we'll move in and take a look here. Here's kind of the junk chainsaws that we've thrown out. I've got a home light, a couple pull-ins, but the one that we're interested in is this Mcculloch Mac 1010. Kind of an older, I think mid to late 70s on this thing, and this has just been sitting here for a couple of years, so I thought we would take it in, kind of look it over, and see what we can do with it. Alright, so I've got a number of chainsaw projects going right now. We had quite a storm roll through last week, and everyone's getting their chainsaw in and fixed because they need to use it for cleanup. So I've got a steel I'm trying to get ready, another steel pulling behind the camera. But let's see about this Mcculloch today. So actually, truth be told, I've already gotten it up and going, but I'll show you all I had to do. This was 2 days ago, I think. I checked in the gas tank. Luckily there was no fuel in it, so whoever had used it last or stored it or whatever had thankfully run it dry for us, which made all the difference. There wasn't rotten fuel in the tank clogging everything up, so that helped. I did top off the bar oil, and then I had to clean up the coil. So the first thing I did is tried to pull it with starting fluid to see if it would start or fire, and it did not. So I checked spark, there was no spark. Took off the flywheel cover, and there was just all kinds of grime and sawdust, maybe bar oil or whatever, on the coil. So I removed the coil, wire brushed that and gapped it, put it back on, and I did have spark. Tried to start it a couple times, and after maybe 2 or 3 shots of carb clean, it started and ran. So after that, we just had to do some adjusting on the mixture screws of the carburetor and got it ready to go. So we will run this in just a little bit, but one thing I wanted to do before using it tomorrow is get the chain sharpened up. So I thought I would kind of show you the process I use for that. One thing I'm intending to do in the near future is pick up a Dremel attachment that I can just quickly sharpen each tooth with, much quicker than the old hand method, but I've been doing it this way for a while, so I'll show you how that works. Alright, so I've just got myself my chainsaw file, and this comes with a guide and a handle, and the guide's kind of nice because that gives you your angles that you need to match to cut the proper angle in each tooth. So I've got that, and then in a second we'll check the rakers, because that's another important step, is that the raker, which rakes out the sawdust to make room for the tooth to cut, is lower than the tooth, because if it's higher, then the tooth won't actually engage the wood very well. You'll end up with tiny little shavings, and you'll have to force the bar through the log. So we'll check that in a second as well. Alright, so all we're going to do is find our master link, which in most cases is where we'll have 2 teeth going the same direction. So you can see here we're going that way, and then this way, that way, this way. Right here, we're going the same direction twice, and that's where we'll start. So I'm going to go to the next tooth down, because I'm in this direction. We'll line up our 30 degrees, and that matches our chain. So you can see the 30-degree line is in line with the bar, and that tooth is right in line with my file. I'm going to kind of push back and down, and we'll do maybe 3 or 4 passes just until you can see a nice clean cut there. We'll just kind of move along quickly here. finally just going to finish up knocking down each of the rakers. So I've worked the way around there. And we're ready to test this thing out. One thing I'm excited about after doing a little bit of research on this saw, apparently it's powerful enough to run a much bigger bar. I guess I'm not sure what it has on it right now. I'm fairly certain it's a 55cc engine, and it's actually only got, oh, it's probably an 18-inch bar, and I think it can run, I've heard reports of up to 28-inch, so I'm going to look into that in the future, on a future video, but we'll crack the door here and see if we can fire it up. Alright, so controls, we've got choke here, switches on. These are pretty cool. They have an oiler here. You can add additional oil while cutting if needed. So, got that. Give it a shot. Let's give it a little bit more choke here. That's it. Come along tomorrow and we'll do some first test cuts with it and see how it does.